anyway, the little investigation for today, you should smile with investigations, because rarely is there homework with that. We're talking about geometric solids, and when you talk about solids in mathematics, generally we're talking about three-dimensional shapes, or 3D as we say. And rather than have you try to draw these freehand, which I've seen you're drawing, I thought I would give you the note paper on this, just so you have the different types of geometric solids we're going to be talking about. The first one here is a polyhedron, which just basically is a three-dimensional shape where all the faces are polygons. So what won't a polyhedron have? It won't have any curved surfaces. You know, it's all going to be, and notice some of these are goofy looking. You got like those odd shaped dice, or you got a cube, you've got whatever thing that is. And then we have prisms. And I will try, I'll do my best to get you to be able to draw a prism. You know, if you're drawing just a simple one, and these are named, they are named, oh, well, I guess we said. What does it mean to have parallel congruent bases? Congruent means what, Brady?
Same size.
Exactly the same. And what does it mean that they're parallel? Same distance apart. Okay. And what does it mean to be a base? And I have to go over that for you because this is important. What is in math when we talk about a base of a three-dimensional shape? I like to use what I call the loaf of bread theory. And this is my own theory, so don't talk to anybody else about this. Loaf of bread. Because if I were asking you about this little shape right here, and I asked you what the base is, what shape is the base? It is a triangle. And most of you said triangle because it's sitting on its triangle. But that's not always going to be the case. Let me see if I can give you a for example. Maybe I can't. Let's go with this. Let's go with this bad boy right here. This is my shape right here. What shape is the base of this little figure here? Samuel? It is an octagon. Even though it's setting on a rectangular face, its base is this octagon. Now, how do I know that? Because of Mr. Hahn's loaf of bread theory. What?
It's actually hexagon.
Oh, you said octagon, not me. Oh, all right. It's a hexagon. How do I know that it's the hexagon? Sorry about that. People in the video. How do I know it's that? It's because this. Here's what you think about. The base is whatever shape that if you were making toast or cutting this loaf of bread, if you cut the loaf of bread, you always get the same exact shape. You always get exact shape. And by that, I'll let you write that down there. Now this is only with prisms, by the way. This one doesn't work for pyramids, nor does it work, well, it works for cylinders, but it doesn't work for cones. See, if this was my loaf of bread and I decided to slice it like this, I'm going to get rectangles, but they keep getting bigger until I get to the middle, and then they'll keep getting smaller as I get to the end. This was a loaf of bread, and I was going to make my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm going to slice it like this, and all of my pieces are going to be exactly those same octagons. Sam? Correct me again. Hexagons. All right, so that's your loaf of bread theory. Now, how do you draw a nice little prism? Well, it's pretty simple. You know, if it is a rectangular prism, by the way, prisms are always named for their bases. So this bad boy right there would be a triangular prism, and this one would be a rectangular prism. But the best way to draw a prism is simply to draw the shape that you're trying to draw. For example, if I'm drawing a triangular prism, I would draw the triangle. I would draw an identical triangle away from it and up from it, and then just connect the nice little corners. Now, what you probably really want to understand is that some of the corners you can't really see. So it should really be a dashed line back And then if you get it all good at it, you can do a little shading. You can put a little three-dimensional look to it there. So there's your three-dimensional shape there. If it was an octagonal one, you'd draw an octagon. Now, what's the difference between that and a pyramid? Okay, it comes to a point, and that's simply it. Okay, this is a square pyramid because its base is a square. This is a triangular pyramid because its base is a pyramid. And if you're drawing one of these shapes, again, start with the shape you want. Let's say I want to draw a hexagonal pyramid. I would start with my hexagon, but you kind of have to make it a little squished a little because it's just a little. Put a point up here, and then you just connect all the vertices. We should probably talk about those too. And then you get your nice little dash lines back there somewhere. These are dashed. And we could color in some faces here. This is one face. This is two faces. Oh, two faces. I don't suspect that you will be cylinders. You probably understand cylinders. They are nothing more than circular prisms. And to draw those, you just start with your circular base, circular top, connect the ends. Cones. Same thing. Circular base comes to a point. And for spheres, there's really not much you can do there other than draw a circle. How do you give that circle the three-dimensional look? Well, you kind of just wrap a line around here and then give it a dash look around the backside. And you could shade it a little if you want. I don't know how good you are at shading, but you don't. Just kind of shade around the sides. Shade in a curved way. Usually darker around the outside and then it gets lighter in the middle. Now, with that being said, somewhere on your piece of paper here, we need to make sure that we label. The three things you need to know about these little shapes are what's the difference between faces, edges, and vertices. You got a space on your paper, right? If you have a three-dimensional shape, say I've got this. What is a face? Face we call basically the sides. And this little shape here has, how many faces does this shape have there? A regular cube has how many faces? 6. This has 6 faces. Where would they be? Well, here you've got this one, and you've got its partner back here, the opposite side. That's a face. You've got this, we call this the right side, and you've got a left side that you can't see over there. What am I missing? Anybody? You've got the top, and you've got the bottom. Those are all faces. 6 faces on that. What's the difference between that and an edge? What is an edge? Riv? Okay, well, it's the place where 2 faces meet. Place where 2 faces meet. So on this shape right here, these are all the edges. This is an edge, this is an edge, this is an edge, this is an edge. Then you've got these edges here, and you've got these edges here, and you've got these edges we can't see here. How many edges does that shape have? Who's got the count on the number of edges? Any rectangular prism Aiden has?
12 edges?
Yes. You've got 4 right here. You got 4 that go around parallel around that, and you got 4 on the back side over there. So that has 12. And then the other thing we have are the vertices. The vertices. And the vertices are the corners. How many vertices do I see here? 1 corner, 2 corners, 3 corners, 4. And these ones 5, 6, 7, and 8. That has 8 vertices. And just one of those is called a vertex. Vertices. Vertex. So far, so good? Perfect. Now for some fun stuff. These are things I live for. I don't have enough time to do. I'd really like to do an isometric. Let's go the fun route rather than the learning route today, shall we? I'll give you another piece of paper because this is stuff people like. And you kind of need a straight edge. You could ruffle something up and find one. I'm going to give you this special paper. We call this paper isometric. Isometric. Oh, are you looking in your book? If you look in your book on page 274, are you there? Yes. Page 274. When we talk about shapes, and you get into this in drafting class, where it says multi-view projection, there's a little 4 square thing there. You can look at the top of a shape, the front of a view, the side of a view. The isometric view is the 3-dimensional view. Let's shrink this down a little bit. Is the 3-dimensional view that you do in drawing, so that you can kind of see what it looks like 3-dimensionally. Now, here is what we're going to do. See if you can follow along with me on this. Just go straight line, up that big here. We are going to draw a cube. Don't draw it with pen because you're going to need to erase a little bit of stuff. We're just going to draw a slotted rectangular prism. So, you'll notice that these lines have angles that you can follow all over. Well, let's say we make this a 3 by 4 cube, which means this. Alright, see this point, start up and you kind of start in the same place I am on your paper, upper left-hand corner. So I start right here. I want this to be 3 rats. This is going to give me trouble. I'll do my line. I want this to be 3 little diagonals down, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to make it 4 little diagonals going in that opposite direction there. Okay, you with me on that? 3 by 4. 3 by 4. And my other dimension is 3. That is how high my shape is going to be. So right here I go straight up 3 little lines. 3 little lines. 3 little lines. You follow that? Everybody got that? Get your 3 by 4 base, and then go straight up 3 by 4. Then, completing my cube, watch this. Oops, what in the world is this doing? Projector doesn't like this. I can have this side, and since I can see the top, well, I guess I went a little high. This goes up here, and then this one goes here. And there is my isometric cube. Again, straight edges were kind of what I was hoping for. Yeah. You don't have a protractor, a ruler. We got that nice little shape drawn. Now we are going to cut a nice little notch into that shape. Check this out. We'll make our little notch right here. Okay, I'm going to have to erase a couple of these. I'm going to go straight down from here. straight across from here. It's going to be a 1 by 1 notch. See my little notch there? I don't like this part right here. But notice my notch, I can't see from the top yet, so I have to go across with my notch. And I have to go across on that same angle with my other notch. Everybody get their little notch drawn? Now what's the problem with my notch? Well, if my notch is there, this top doesn't go all the way around. So this is where I said you might need to do some erasing. I'm going to get rid of this line. And I'm going to get rid of this line. And make them a little shorter because we just have this piece here, that piece there, and this piece here. Looks more like a notch, does it not? But Riv, I'm still missing something. What am I missing? This corner that's sitting out here in the no man's land, it's part of the side, so I have to drop it straight down. And there's a little corner right here that I can't see. It has to get placed in here like such. Now, doesn't that look like a notch? Did your notch magically appear there? Does anybody's look pretty sweet like that? You either like the drawing or you don't like the drawing. Now, what if I wanted to cut a little hole right in the middle of it? Let's say I want to make a 1 by 2 hole that goes through the middle. All you have to do is put a 1 by 2 rectangle there. But it doesn't look like a hole until I do what? Anybody know what I'm missing? The inside corner. Danny, where is it? From this point right here, you'll be able to see this little edge that follows that nice isometric little line right there. Make it a little bit longer. Now, doesn't that look like a fun little hole? Oh, look at your fun little hole. Look at Ephraim! What a fantastic little line there. You should be your ruler should always be on one of the lines that are on the paper. You should be following the line always. If it goes up and down, it should follow it straight up and down. If it goes sideways, like you see the line always goes straight up and down. But you didn't your thing was supposed to be 1 wide. That's why you ran out. It's supposed to be 3 wide. And then just for fun, let's cut out the bottom right-hand corner. Let's cut this corner right out, which means it would look like this. This would now be a new edge. Let's try that again. This would be a new edge. And it would come across like this, come over like that, come down like that. I got a few problems with this. Now, why doesn't it look like an edge? I got some erasing to do, and I need to add a couple more pieces here. If this is an edge, that means it goes across like this, and goes across like this. And then I've got to shorten my lines up. This one would be shortened right to here. This one would get shortened right to here. This one would be shortened right to there. And this one doesn't look good either. But all your up and down lines follow the up and down line there. All your ones that go on angles there. Wait, what am I? One of them doesn't seem right. Oh, it's because it gets lost or something. It's like an optical illusion. Now, what I would like for you to try to do for your homework, this is it right here, look at page 275. I want you to try to draw that same little block on the top of page 275 on either the back side of that or underneath what you already drew there. The back side is also that. Now I would suggest that you make it a 4 by 6. Start with a 4 by 6 shape. In other words, River Kamara, if you're looking at that shape, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this way, and go 4 this way. That would be your starting. That would be your starting rectangle. And you want to start with a whole complete rectangle. And how high would it be? Let me look at how high it is. I would suppose it would be 4 high as well. So here's what your starting block would. Oh boy. Here's what your starting block would end up starting with. See if you can 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your starting block that you are going to cut all those pieces out of. A 4 by 6 shape. And you. Wait, why does that not look right? Oh, because I just need to clean up some stuff. This one needs to be this way. This one needs to be this way. There. That's your starting block. It is all 4 by 6, right? There. See if you can figure out. I'll give you a. Maybe I won't give you a clue. Your first little shave off that you can come up to there. You see if you can draw that same shape. Cut it out of that. I'll give you the like right side rectangle that they start with. That right side rectangle is this. Right side rectangle is this. It is all the way across. The right side rectangle is that. And then it's going to go 4 diagonally this way. And then go up. So I do that now. I'll let you play with that and see if you can get that. Oh, wait, did I move my paper? It didn't move in it. My whole paper moved. If you don't get it, that's fine, but I'd like you to try. See if you can duplicate that same shape. And oh, the fun that will ensue. Aren't you glad you showed